Unlock 35 time-tested tips straight from our grandparents' playbook. Whether it's keeping food fresh, fixing things on the fly, or stretching a dollar, these classic tricks are as smart today as they were decades ago. Cinnamon for ants. Ants in the kitchen? Grandma didn't call pest control. She sprinkled cinnamon where the ants marched in. They hate the smell and stay far away. It smells better than sprays, and it's safe for pets and kids. Plus, it made the kitchen smell like fresh apple pie. You can even mix cinnamon oil and water for a spray. This simple spice was her secret weapon, and it still works today.
Cloth bags for storing produce.
Plastic wasn't always around, so Grandma used cotton cloth bags to store fruits and veggies. They kept air flowing, which meant apples didn't rot as fast and onions didn't sprout. Potatoes stayed firm and fresh longer, too. She hung them in a cool, dark spot, usually the pantry or cellar. No plastic, no waste, just smart storage. Maybe it's time we trade in those plastic sacks for something old, but gold.
Toothpicks for plant supports.
Got droopy seedlings or houseplants leaning over. Grandma didn't run to the store. She grabbed a toothpick. She'd poke one into the soil beside the plant and gently tie the stem with thread or a twist of yarn. Instant support pole. For bigger plants, she'd use wooden chopsticks or sticks from the yard. Simple, smart, and free. Those tiny helpers kept her windowsill garden growing strong. Newspaper for window cleaning. Forget streaky paper towels. Grandma cleaned her windows with crumpled up newspaper and a splash of vinegar. The result? Shiny, streak-free glass every time. No lint, no waste, and no overpriced sprays. The ink and fibers of the newspaper gave her that perfect polish. She'd wipe down mirrors too, leaving them spotless. Next time you're cleaning up, skip the fancy wipes. Grab yesterday's paper and channel Grandma. Your windows will thank you. Toothpaste for scratched glass? Minor scratch on her watch face or a mirror? Grandma dabbed on plain white toothpaste and gently buffed it with a cloth. It took a bit of rubbing, but it made light scratches fade or disappear. No special paste, just the regular kind sitting in the bathroom. It was like watching a tiny miracle, and it saved a lot of money replacing things that looked too far gone. Olive oil for squeaky hinges. Before WD-40, Grandpa reached for the olive oil. Just a drop on a cloth and a quick rub on door hinges, and the squeak was gone. No smell, no mess, and safe around kids and pets. He even used it on old tools and drawer tracks. Olive oil was his go-to lubricant for almost anything that groaned or creaked. Turns out the same stuff you cook with can keep your home running smooth.
Cool tea bags for tired eyes.
Grandma saved her used tea bags for a reason. After brewing chamomile or green tea, she'd cool the bags in the fridge and place them on her eyes for 10 minutes. It reduced puffiness, soothed irritation, and left her looking bright-eyed. The natural caffeine and herbs helped tighten the skin and ease redness. It was her little secret for feeling refreshed before church or family visits. Best part? Totally free.
Baking soda toothpaste.
Before fancy whitening strips, Grandpa brushed his teeth with baking soda. Just a pinch on a damp toothbrush, and boom, clean, fresh, and white. No minty aftertaste, but it worked like a charm. Baking soda scrubs away stains gently, and it's natural too. Grandma even used it for heartburn. A little water and baking soda? Instant relief. This little box was a staple in their bathroom and kitchen. And honestly, we could all use it more.
Onion on a bee sting.
Got stung by a bee? Grandpa didn't panic. He'd grab an onion, slice it, and press it on the sting. The pain and swelling eased up quick. Turns out onions pull out the venom and soothe inflammation. Weird? Maybe, but it worked, and no one cried, except the onion. This old-school tip still comes in handy today, especially during summer picnics. Keep an onion nearby, and you've got a natural remedy ready to roll.
Ice cubes to lift carpet dents.
Grandma had a sneaky way of fixing those little dents in the carpet from furniture. She'd place an ice cube in each dent, let it melt, then fluff up the fibers with a spoon or her fingers. It was like the dent had never been there. No need for steamers or fancy gadgets, just ice from the freezer, and a little patience. Who knew fixing the carpet could be that easy? Cabbage leaves for sore joints. Grandma had creaky knees, but she didn't always pop pills. She'd wrap her joints in cabbage leaves, especially after warming them slightly. The coolness and natural anti-inflammatory properties helped ease the pain. Sounds strange, but even today, Some folks swear by it. She called it her green therapy. Whether it was the cabbage or the care she gave herself, it worked more often than not. Black pepper on a cut. Scraped your knee outside? Grandpa would clean it, then do something wild. He'd sprinkle black pepper on the cut. Sounds crazy, but it helped stop the bleeding. Black pepper's got antibacterial properties too. It stung a bit, but worked fast. No bandage? No problem. Just pepper and a steady hand. This isn't medical advice for today's world, but back then, it was Grandpa's go-to first aid kit. Mayonnaise for crayon marks. When we colored on the wall, oops, Grandma didn't freak out. She grabbed mayonnaise, rubbed a little on the crayon marks, let it sit, then wiped it away with a damp cloth. The oils broke down the wax. The wall was clean, and we still got dessert. It was just one of many quiet miracles she performed around the house without anyone noticing.
Honey for coughs.
Got a sore throat or a nagging cough? Grandpa didn't reach for medicine. He stirred honey into warm water or tea, sometimes with a squeeze of lemon. It soothed everything instantly. Honey coats the throat, calms the irritation, and actually tastes good. He'd even take a spoonful straight before bed. Natural, simple, and it always helped. It's no wonder folks still use this trick today. Carrot tops for soup flavor. Nothing went to waste in Grandma's kitchen. Even carrot tops got chopped up and tossed into broths or soups. They added flavor and nutrients, kind of like parsley. She'd say, if it grows, it goes. And you know what? Her soups were always rich and comforting. Next time you're tempted to toss those leafy greens, chop them up instead. They just might be the missing flavor your soup's been needing. Milk for sunburns. Sunburned at the beach? Grandma didn't run for aloe. She ran for the fridge. Cold milk, applied with a soft cloth, instantly cooled the burn. The proteins in milk help soothe the skin and cut down redness. It's messy, sure, but it works in a pinch. Once the milk dried, she'd gently rinse and moisturize. It felt like a hug for your skin. That's good old-fashioned care right there. Lemon for elbow softening. Dry elbows? Grandma had a solution. She'd cut a lemon in half, sprinkle it with baking soda, and rub it on her elbows. The acid from the lemon and the gentle scrub of the soda left her skin baby soft. She'd even let the halves sit on her elbows for a few minutes like citrusy elbow masks. No lotions or creams, just fruit and fizz. A real DIY spa day. Cornstarch for chafing. Summertime meant sweat and sore skin, especially for kids running around all day. Grandma didn't buy powders. She dusted cornstarch on the spots that rubbed raw. Armpits, thighs, under the arms. It worked like a charm. Cornstarch kept skin dry and reduced irritation. Plus, it was cheap and chemical-free. She even used it on babies to prevent diaper rash. Simple, safe, and sitting in the kitchen cabinet the whole time. Another humble hero from the pantry.
Cold water for setting stains.
When someone spilled juice on a tablecloth, Grandma jumped into action. First rule, cold water only. Hot water sets stains, but cold water keeps them loose so they're easier to clean. She'd soak it right away, then rub with a little soap. 9 times out of 10, the stain vanished. It wasn't just laundry, it was love in action. That tablecloth always made it back, spotless, for the next Sunday dinner. Salt for grease fires. Grandpa always warned us, never use water on a grease fire. If the frying pan flared up, he'd grab a fistful of salt and throw it in. Boom! Flames gone. Salt smothers the fire by cutting off oxygen. He kept a jar of salt right by the stove just in case. It was his quiet version of a fire extinguisher. Every kitchen should remember that tip. It could save a lot more than dinner. Old socks for dusting. Before microfiber cloths, Grandma had a drawer full of old mismatched socks. She'd slip one on like a mitten and dust the furniture, blinds, and baseboards with ease. It picked up lint better than paper towels, and when one got too dirty, it became a rag. She reused everything. Her cleaning supplies were mostly repurposed clothes, and somehow her house was always spotless.
Toothbrush for cleaning grout.
Grandpa kept an old toothbrush under the sink, not for brushing teeth, but for scrubbing grout lines and tough corners. Add a little baking soda and vinegar, and that grime didn't stand a chance. It got into every little nook and cranny. No expensive tools needed, just a humble toothbrush and a little elbow grease. Still works like a charm today, especially in the bathroom or kitchen. Flour paste for paper cuts. Grandma's kitchen was her medicine cabinet. Got a paper cut? She'd dab on a little flour to stop the bleeding. It clotted fast and formed a soft shield. No sting like alcohol. It was always handy too, right next to the mixing bowls. Sure, we've got fancier options now, but when you're in a pinch, a scoop of flour might just do the trick.
Bread to soften cookies.
Grandpa had a sweet tooth, and Grandma knew how to keep cookies soft. She'd toss a slice of bread into the cookie jar. That's it. The moisture from the bread kept the cookies tender for days. The bread would harden, but the cookies? Perfect. It's an old trick that still beats any resealable bag or fancy container. If your treats are turning to bricks, try this forgotten pantry move. Apple slices to soften brown sugar. Rock-hard brown sugar. Grandma had a fix. She'd toss an apple slice into the container and seal it up. By the next day, the sugar would be soft and scoopable again. The apple's moisture brought the sugar back to life. No need to toss it or hammer it into pieces. It's a trick that still saves the day in modern kitchens. Coffee grounds for odors. Don't throw away used coffee grounds. Grandma used to dry them out and place them in bowls around the house. The smell of musty closets? Gone. Fridge funk? Fixed. She'd even scrub her hands with coffee grounds after chopping garlic or fish. Poof. No more stink. These little leftovers absorb odors better than any store-bought air freshener. Plus, she'd sprinkle them in the garden to repel pests. Boiled orange peels for air freshener. Grandma hated waste. After peeling an orange, she'd toss the peels into a pot with cinnamon sticks and a splash of vanilla, then let it simmer on the stove. The whole house would smell amazing, warm, citrusy, and clean. No plug-ins, no sprays, just a humble pot of peels and spice. It made the kitchen smell like sunshine. Still one of the best natural air fresheners you'll ever try.
Chalk to stop silver from tarnishing.
Ever notice that Grandma's silverware stayed shiny? Her trick? A piece of chalk in the drawer. Chalk absorbs moisture, which helps stop tarnish from forming. No fancy bags or expensive treatments. She just tossed in a couple of classroom chalk sticks and let them work. Every few months, she'd replace them. Easy peasy. It's one of those clever things she never bragged about but always did right.
Vinegar for everything.
Grandma used vinegar like it was magic. Cleaning windows, vinegar. Soothing sunburn, vinegar. Freshening up laundry, yep, vinegar again. She'd mix it with water in a spray bottle and wipe everything down. Cheaper than store cleaners and no weird chemicals. It even made her coffee pot sparkle inside. Turns out, white vinegar was her all-purpose superhero. Next time something needs scrubbing or deodorizing, skip the fancy stuff and grab the bottle from your pantry, just like Grandma did. Potato for rust removal. Grandpa had a trick for rusty knives and old tools. He'd cut a potato in half, dip it in baking soda or dish soap, and scrub away. Something in the potato, oxalic acid apparently, breaks down rust. It sounded crazy, but it worked. No special chemicals, no elbow grease needed. Just a potato from the pantry and a little scrubbing. It's the kind of clever thinking we just don't do anymore, but maybe we should. Bread for glass cleanup. Dropped a glass? Before grabbing the broom, Grandpa would pick up the big pieces, then press a slice of bread over the area to catch the tiny shards. Bread grabs the little slivers your eyes miss. Safe, soft, and way smarter than stepping on glass later. It's the kind of trick you only learn from someone who's swept up their fair share of accidents.
Aluminum foil sharpening trick.
Grandpa's scissors were always sharp. His trick? He'd fold a piece of aluminum foil several times and cut through it. A few snips, and the blades worked like new. He used it for sewing scissors, kitchen shears, you name it. It wasn't perfect, but it kept things working when a trip to the store wasn't an option. Another reason his toolbox never let him down. Wooden spoon over boiling pot. Grandma had this neat trick to stop water from boiling over. She'd lay a wooden spoon across the top of the pot. It worked like magic. The bubbles hit the spoon, broke apart, and never spilled over. No more messy stovetops or ruined dinners. Just one wooden spoon doing its job without complaint. It's one of those little kitchen hacks that feel like a secret, until you try it yourself. Citrus peel to deter cats. Grandma loved cats, but not in the garden. To keep them out, she'd scatter orange or lemon peels around her flower beds. Cats hate the smell, and it kept them from digging. It also smelled better than most repellents. Turns out, that citrusy scent we love is pure yuck to a cat. And yes, her garden stayed picture perfect, without one no trespassing sign in sight. Cold spoon for puffy eyes. After a long night, Grandma didn't need fancy eye creams. She'd keep a couple of metal spoons in the freezer. In the morning, she'd gently press them under her eyes. Instantly cooling, it helped reduce puffiness and refreshed her face. No chemicals, no spending, just good old kitchen magic. This trick still works today and feels amazing, especially on tired mornings. Sometimes the simplest solutions are hiding right in your silverware drawer.
Butter for minor burns.
Burn yourself cooking? Grandma would dab a little cold butter on the spot. It cooled the skin and eased the sting. These days we might reach for aloe or ointments, but back then butter was the go-to. It soothed the burn and gave you a reason to pause and take a breath. And honestly, there was something comforting about how quickly she cared for you, right there by the stove. Eggshells and garden soil. Grandma crushed eggshells and sprinkled them around her garden. They kept slugs away and added calcium to the soil. Tomatoes especially loved it. No need for fancy fertilizer when breakfast leftovers did the job. She even composted them to enrich the whole bed. Next time you make scrambled eggs, think twice before tossing those shells. Your plants will thank you for it, just like Grandma's used to.
Soap in the bed for leg cramps.
This one sounds silly, but Grandma swore by it. She'd slip a bar of soap under the sheets at the foot of the bed. Why? Leg cramps. She said the soap helped stop nighttime Charlie horses. People still debate whether it's placebo or real, but she said it worked, and she slept like a baby. Sometimes, believing in the trick is half the cure. So if your legs keep waking you up, try the soap. Can't hurt.